As 2023 wraps up, an interesting question posed on this video. Tesla reigns as top EV stock. Will BYD take the lead?
You've been with me throughout so many storylines, and in this one, a deep dive into those EV stocks, those electric vehicles that have been running the show in many ways. And Steve Wesley is with us, founder, managing partner of the Wesley Group, and Garrett Nelson, vice president, senior equity analyst at CFRA Research. Thank you both for being here. We've had so many great conversations as we wrap it up. Steve, would you say 2023 did not disappoint? I mean, did you feel like there were a lot of great moments when it came to the EV space?
Look, 2023 certainly didn't disappoint at all. Look, the big picture here is the EV market's continuing to boom as prices come down. And I think expect 30% year-over-year growth globally, from 10.5 million units in 2022 to close to 14 million units this year. This means...
But Steve, that's not what I keep reading in the fake news. They keep telling me that EV demand is slowing down. The ICE vehicle will be here for much longer than people first anticipated, and that it's a good idea and strategically wise for companies like Ford and General Motors to slow down their EV production plans because obviously there's no demand. How do we square these two things? How is it possible that year-over-year electric vehicle sales would be up multiple double-digit percentage points at the same time that EV demand is slowing down and going to be slower than people anticipated?
Means that almost 20% of all cars sold globally are EVs today. That's stunning. More price cuts are coming. Battery prices down 14% this year. 40% by 2025. We're entering into a world of EV dominance over the next decade. Big story. Will BYD, Tesla battle for the throne? I think in 2023, Tesla's going to keep the crown. They're probably going to sell about 1.8 million units to 1.6 for BYD. But by 2024, BYD is growing faster than anyone. They'll probably outsell Tesla. Big question, who wins the cost down war, and how soon can Tesla get that $25,000 car on the road?
Bold prediction here from Steve. BYD potentially overtaking Tesla in electric vehicles sold per year just a few years from now. Definitely possible, by the way. They certainly won't be overtaking Tesla on profit per vehicle sold. And to Steve's point, the big question really is, when does Tesla's next generation $25,000 vehicle first enter production? As I mentioned recently in a discussion with Farzad, if you haven't seen that, by the way, check it out. We did a 3-part discussion. Excellent conversation. Very much enjoyed it. I personally think that Tesla's going to effectively announce the next-gen vehicle formally, as in, ooh, pretty pictures, you can order one now. Because they've already told us about the next-gen vehicle platform and how it's going to be manufactured and the implications from a Tesla investor's point of view. But because there were no pretty pictures, no one seemed to notice. Tesla, no doubt strategically, intentionally didn't show us what the next-gen vehicle or vehicle variations on their platform would look like, because if they did that, next minute, there's pictures and discussion all over the media, and suddenly people who are potentially buying a 3 or Y decide, I don't need it, I'll buy the cheaper one. Then wait. So my strong theory is that the $25,000-ish Tesla vehicle is going to sneak up out of nowhere. Tesla will stealthily be finalizing their production systems, then stealthily begin building the initial production lines, and then stealthily begin trial production, and then stealthily scale production. And then out of almost nowhere, announce, hey guys, here's our new vehicle, you can order it now. Deliveries start in 3 milliseconds. In short, do not expect a 4-year wait between product unveil and first deliveries, as we saw with the Cybertruck. In other words, just because we haven't seen what Tesla's next-gen vehicle looks like yet, doesn't mean that deliveries couldn't begin, let's call it 24 months from now. I'm not saying they will, I'm just saying don't be surprised if this comes out of absolutely nowhere. And remember, the next-gen vehicle is specifically designed with 2 things in mind. 1, to be as affordable as possible for consumers to buy. And 2, even more importantly, to be able to be produced at lightning speed. An entirely new modular manufacturing system, meaning it's going to ramp faster than any product in Tesla history by a massive margin. Now, certainly, early on, it might be slow to get started, but this is a vehicle platform for which there'll be many, many, many millions of units per year of demand right out of the gates. This is the vehicle platform that sinks companies like Toyota and Volkswagen, who today think of themselves, generally speaking, as producers of mass-market affordable vehicles. I'm sure these companies aren't anticipating how quickly Tesla will ramp production on their next-gen vehicle. So, over the next 12, 18, 24 months, it may look like Tesla's slowing down in terms of overall production growth, but a second stage, to use a rocket analogy, is a next-gen vehicle, and that is going to send Tesla volumes to the moon.
Yeah, look, and you had the Cybertruck unveiling and got those up and out, or the beginning of getting those out. Garrett, what did you make? You had a buy rating. You both liked Tesla as a stock. Were you happy with the performance of Tesla in 2023? And is it a buy for 2024 going forward, Garrett?
It was a great year for Tesla. The stock has more than doubled year to date, so they have a lot of momentum.
What's this I see? A post on X a year ago from some guy with 3 first names who said, "It's going to be interesting to see the Tesla stock year-to-date percentage change in 2023, starting from an incredibly low base." He even went as far as to suggest it would be the polar opposite of 2022, which saw Tesla stock plunge. And here we are, as I record this, Tesla stock closed at $256.61 year-to-date, up 137.38%. No one could have seen that coming. And congratulations to everybody who panic sold, around $100 per share. You are definitely cut out for investing.
Steve mentioned declining battery costs. Their unit costs have come down for 3 straight quarters, and lithium prices have really plummeted. So, they have a lot of tailwinds on the cost side. Also, the UAW deal increases the costs of their competitors, the Detroit 3, by a significant amount. So, Tesla has a lot of tailwinds at its back heading into the new year. We have a buy on it still, $300 12-month price target. So we think it's going to be another really good year for the company in 2024. We think they will introduce this mass market next-gen EV model in 2024. Elon Musk has been talking about it more recently. We think next year's the year. It probably won't be at a $25,000 price point, just because that was a promise made 4 years ago, pre-COVID and pre-inflation. But we think it'll probably be somewhere in the range of a $30,000 to $35,000 price point for the base model. But we like Tesla a lot here.
Yeah, and Garrett, just quickly, which names, if people want to write them down, which ones do you have buy ratings on going forward?
So it's a pretty short list right now. It's Tesla, Ferrari, luxury automaker, but about $65 billion market cap. And then in the EV space, the one name aside from Tesla that we like is Polestar, ticker PSNY.
Interesting. That's 2 more stocks that I'm personally buying. But interesting, a very short list. Does that suggest that Garrett and CFRA see a lot of pain in the supposed automotive industry, electric vehicles or otherwise? It's a very short list indeed.
Okay. That being said here, Steve, BYD is a name that I think a lot of people have a lot of respect for. We know they were battling neck and neck. Which of the 2 companies, that and Tesla, could get more vehicles out? It's one that Buffett liked. It had a growth trajectory that some would say Tesla was more in an intermediate growth phase after sort of more surging. Is BYD also a name? Would you say those are both stocks that you like, Steve?
Absolutely. And look, there's just no disputing this. BYD is simply put growing faster than Tesla. So I think if you're looking for other names to look at, Tesla, BYD for sure. Look at the Koreans. Hyundai and Kia are doing awfully well. And you've got to give Rivian credit. I mean, they've been in this EV auto space for 6-7 years. They're already selling half the vehicles that GM and Ford are at 52,000 units this year. They've just raised their plans and they're heading toward profitability. So they're getting it right. The big question is, what the heck happened to Toyota, GM, Ford, the legacy manufacturers with all of this R&D money, this global capacity? They just didn't get the memo on EVs. I think they're going to be punished.
Steve's on point here. Punished is an understatement. It has been truly incredible to watch these legacy automotive behemoths flail around, backpedal, and fail to recognize the opportunity, the necessary steps to take action in terms of electric vehicles. And I mean stunning. I've been saying this stuff for over 4 years now on this YouTube channel. They need to hurry the fuck up, or they're not going to make it. Actually, they're not going to make it anyway, but at least they should try and hurry up. All the while, I thought at some point over the last 4 or so years, the penny would drop. They'd realize, oh, geez, we are really behind. Let's double and quadruple down and massively accelerate our plans. And instead, in just the last couple of months, we've heard companies like GM and Ford slowing down. You just can't make this stuff up. Imagine this were, let's say, Blockbuster, when they started to realize that movie rentals were slowing down and this company called Netflix was gaining a bit of market share. Imagine Blockbuster had decided, okay, let's get into the online streaming service. Started scaling up their online streaming platform with a few issues along the way. And then, a couple of years later, while their market share was collapsing, while Netflix was exploding, said, you know what, guys, this is actually a bad idea. Let's slow down on this online streaming stuff. Video rentals are here to stay. That is, in essence, what we've seen from legacy automotive companies. It is baffling. The writing's on the wall. It's been on the wall for years, and yet everyone at these companies making decisions appears to be illiterate.
And then there's a whole slew of firms that I think just don't make the cut. Lucid really on air support here, being knocked out of the NASDAQ 100, losing dramatic amounts on every vehicle. So,
yeah, now, I kind of feel like I saw this coming. Rest in peace, Lucid. And I've got to give credit to Rivian. They're limping along. They might make it. Not saying they will, but I've been quite consistent in this. Of all of the electric vehicle startups outside of China, Rivian is certainly far and away doing the best. That said, they have been around for a very long time. Rivian was founded back in 2009. There are literally people watching this video right now who were born after Rivian was founded. So they're doing well, not as well as Tesla did at the same point in their life as a company in terms of vehicle volumes, profitability, and/or losses, and so on. But they're still alive. And as I said, they might make it. Very impressive. The same cannot be said for Lucid. Steve suggesting that they're on life support, and he's right. Good news is, though, they can potentially continue to suck from the teat of the Saudi investment fund. So who knows how long life support will remain on. And I'm sure Lucid's current CEO, Pete Rawlinson, is sleeping on the factory floors at the moment trying to solve all the problems, because it's not like he's been dumping insane amounts of stock and/or being compensated truly obscene amounts. Oh wait, no. Maybe what I just said is not true. Just to be clear, folks, in 2022, the most recent available year, Lucid CEO Pete Rawlinson was compensated close to $400 million US, predominantly in stock awards, tiny fraction of that, $5.5 million in stock options, and a little under $600,000 in a base salary. So think about this for a moment. In my opinion, this company is going bankrupt. It appears obvious that this will occur, and yet in 2022, their CEO apparently being compensated for accelerating the company's demise. Now, call me crazy, but I'm a big fan of performance-based compensation. And I think that CEOs and others who perform well, add value, should be compensated obscene amounts. I have absolutely no qualms. If a leader of a company helps a company make $100 billion in a year, if they're compensated $10 billion, it's chump change. 10% of the value they brought, that's nothing. But this guy received compensation in excess of a third of $1 billion in 2022, and Lucid appears completely and utterly fucked. That just doesn't sit well with me.
It's going to be a tale of two cities, the winners pulling away and some laggards really struggling to stay in the game.
Yeah, and you mentioned Lucid. There are so many names. We watched XPeng, we watched Li Auto. Garrett, you were just talking about Polestar. So some of these names that NIO, some of the names that necessarily people don't talk about. I mean, the F-150 Lightning had a lot of excitement surrounding it, and then it just didn't have as much demand as they had hoped, and now they had to had to cut the production by half. You have GM Cruise. Was that a Ford problem? Maybe people didn't want an EV pickup truck. I mean, you have Rivian. But Garrett, what's the final thought? Is EV demand still hot? Do you expect that to still grow, or was it a fad or a phase?
What we've seen is a lot of traditional automakers actually pull back on their EV investments, their EV growth plans. Part of it's because of the new UAW deal. You've seen the Detroit 3 pull back. But also part of it is consumers are demanding more hybrids. And automakers are really getting the message that there's a lot more demand for hybrids than pure electric vehicles. And so, you look at Ford, one of the only companies that discloses their EV results. They lost $36,000 per EV sold in the third quarter. That's just not sustainable. And so the companies themselves are making decisions to pivot their portfolios going forward. And so I think you're going to see a whole lot more hybrids being planned in the future, and a bit of a pullback on EVs just because consumers aren't demanding them.
Fact check. False. Not sure where Garrett's getting his information. I mean, then again, I have roasted Garrett previously. He doesn't have an impeccable track record. At least he's starting to get it with electric vehicles, but take his opinion with a grain of salt. So do my own. But to suggest that there's greater demand for hybrids than electric vehicles and that consumers want hybrids, this is utterly false. What's happening right now is legacy automotive companies, who realize they're going to go bankrupt if they sell pure electric vehicles because, as Garrett points out, they're losing multiple tens of thousands of dollars per electric vehicle sold, are thinking to themselves, oh, I've got an idea. What if we trick our dumb, loyal customers into buying internal combustion engine vehicles with a vibrator-sized battery in them? We can probably make a profit on those, and we're losing money on EVs. Let's try that. Let's claim that consumers want hybrids. Let's try to package them as great for the environment. Let's try to brand them as extremely cutting-edge technology, innovative, convenient, and so on. Let's try to milk some profits off internal combustion engine vehicles with a tiny battery inside them. Need I remind folks the disparity between electric vehicles sold per year and hybrids? For every one hybrid vehicle, which again is just an ICE vehicle with a pissy little battery in it, there are many electric vehicles sold. What Garrett's saying doesn't make any sense unless he's gobbling up what he's being told from legacy automotive companies, who are really just trying to milk the internal combustion engine for all it's worth. Hybrids are going away because they're ICE vehicles, just like ICE vehicles are going away. I don't think Garrett's understanding what's going on here, but I'm here to tell you folks, the reason we're hearing from companies, legacy automotive companies, that they believe that consumers want hybrids or that there's lots of demand for hybrids is simply because they want to continue to trick customers into buying hybrids, aka ICE vehicles, because they know they can make money selling ICE vehicles, even if they stuff a little battery in it. And they can also trick people who want a virtue signal about how much they care about the environment into buying a hybrid, which is an ICE vehicle, because it's good for the environment because we told you so. Hybrids are the worst of both worlds, with so much unnecessary complexity. Terrible idea. Made sense about 15 years ago. No longer the case. They're going away. Absolutely insane to hear somebody like Garrett suggesting that there's strong demand for hybrids, that there's more demand for hybrids than electric vehicles. Guy's lost the plot. Now, to be fair, Garrett is obviously a very competent analyst who's never missed the mark. So he's probably right regarding hybrids. I just wanted to revisit some of his recommendations on Tesla stock. July 26, 2019 has a sell rating on Tesla stock when the stock was split adjusted $17.41 per share. That was downgraded from a hold when the stock was $19 a share. You guys remember when I started this YouTube channel? 2019, late not 2019. You know what I was doing here? When he was saying sell, I was burning my entire emergency fund, having closed up a business and headed overseas. The money that I needed for an emergency, the emergency was Tesla stock, around $17 a share. He continues to maintain a sell rating into 2020. Remember, I started the YouTube channel just before Garrett's doubling down on his sell rating. Tesla stock just over $30 a share, and Garrett's saying sell. At $38, Garrett once again, sell Tesla stock at $38 per share. At 25, hold. At 51, just a few months after he was saying sell at 38, he's saying hold. And then downgrading from hold to sell at 100 per share. Another sell at $99.75 per share, and then buy. A few months later, buy at 133. Buy at 139. Hold at 211. Buy at 351. You guys get the point. Garrett has been very bullish on Tesla, starting around $350 per share, but this is the same guy who, the all-time opportunity of opportunities, in my opinion. Mid-2019, Tesla stock getting absolutely gutted. The guy's recommending investors sell. I wonder why he was doing that. Let's see what he's had to say about Lucid. At $38.22 per share, recommending investors hold Lucid. At the same time, I was recording videos pointing out the bell curve, brain damage, can't fix stupid. What's Lucid stock today? I forget. $4.34. Down close to 90% from his hold rating. Now look, I don't want to be too unfair on Garrett, but I just want to point out that this guy doesn't have the best track record. One more, Rivian. Early 2022, hold at $52 per share. More holds, more holds, more holds, and then sells and sells and sells. If I didn't know any better, I'd kind of think Garrett was just chasing stocks. And now some thoughts from somebody who would definitely never chase a stock, Dan Ives.
Around this time last year. But I do want to switch gears here and talk about EV demand, because this has been one of the stories that's really emerged, that it just feels like all of these automakers really miscalculated how much demand there would be for EVs. And now,
fake news alert. No, let's be clear. These automakers have discovered that Tesla exists, and Tesla doesn't exist in a vacuum, meaning they need to compete with Tesla in the same marketplace called Planet Earth, in which Tesla also sells products to consumers, meaning if they can't offer a vehicle with comparable performance and features, and that includes the software, and do so for a comparable price, they're not going to sell vehicles. And in order to compete on price, there's two ways this can be achieved. One, actually produce the vehicle for a comparable amount of money, which they're not able to do. Or two, produce the vehicle for whatever it costs and then sell it at a comparable price to a Tesla and lose tens of thousands of dollars per vehicle sold. These companies are deciding and learning that producing a turd and selling it for a loss isn't sustainable. And producing a turd and not selling it for a loss means no one buys the turd. So these companies have decided, let's just stop making turds. So Once again, we hear the narrative, the claim, the suggestion, the implication that electric vehicle demand is not as high as people thought. No, it's just that consumers don't want to buy polished turds when they can instead buy a Tesla.
Now you're seeing those production targets get cut. How does that factor into how you're thinking about Tesla? Is that a bear case for Tesla, or does Tesla just command more of maybe a shrinking pie?
Yeah, Katie, I think that's
She just implied that the electric vehicle market is a shrinking pie. Holy fuck, dude. What the hell?
great point. Look, right now it's Tesla's world, everyone else paying rent when it comes to electric vehicles. And I think they're doubling down. You look what's happened to Detroit, GM, Ford actually peeling back a little from electric vehicles, some of the foreign automakers. Look, demand's definitely softened. Price wars have come through, but a lot of those storms have now passed. I think for Tesla specifically, unit volume looks strong in China. I think there's going to be a record quarter for China, in terms of Q4. You go into next year, I think demand actually starts to accelerate a bit relative to where people thought. I think for the overall industry, it's still a massive transformation, but now you're starting to maybe peel back a bit in terms of, okay, this is not going to 40% penetration, maybe it's 25, 30.
Dan.
I think what Dan just implied there is percentage of all new vehicles sold. I do recall some time ago Dan was making suggestions about X amount of electric vehicles being sold by 2030, thereabouts. Not sure what this guy's smoking, but I'd like some. EVs are on their way to 100% of all new vehicles sold roughly by the end of this decade. There is no slowdown. Again, interest rates through the roof, economic uncertainty. Consumers who were going to purchase an electric vehicle in the next year or two have delayed their purchase. They're still going to buy one. They've just decided now is not the time. The companies today, slowing down, are going to learn a very valuable lesson. That they can't see it, that they can't read the writing on the wall. Baffling. By the way, shout out to the fashion icon, Dan. What a shirt.
In 30 seconds, China is the rallying cry of the bears when it comes to Apple. So too when it comes to Tesla. You think about all those Chinese EV makers. How does Tesla compete overseas?
I mean, they've done it. I mean, I think a lot of the price war, this was a poker move for the ages by Musk. Cut prices, focus on units. And that's why right now this has been flex the muscles in Beijing for not just Tesla, but of course for Apple, despite bear noise.
It is worth taking a moment to be stunned by Tesla's performance in China. This is a foreign automotive manufacturer beating Chinese auto companies at their own game, selling vehicles for a premium relative to many other vehicles in China, making significantly higher profit margins per vehicle sold than any company in China and any outside of China, and having strategically located a factory in Shanghai to produce Tesla vehicles, the lowest cost per unit anywhere on Earth, and to use as an export hub. China is the world's biggest and most important automotive market and the most mature electric vehicle market. Tesla has a huge foothold and a massive advantage despite being a foreign entity. What the Tesla China team have been able to do is incredible. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. It's an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link at the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links at the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.